everyone, this is Deanna, the Organized Miss, and we're gonna make this is my spin on a Spirit Mom, but for the pageant. So I level it up each year, and because I love the big Spirit Moms, I said, how can I take my basic button that I started with, just have a photo in there. That's kind of how it started, and level it up. And so that's what I do each year. Last year I had these, and I did have some that were just, with this on it. I think I have a video somewhere of that, but I really wanted to level it up and add all the ribbons. And so I have already made a couple. I'd made one much bigger than this. It was a little too big. So I think this is what I settled on as my final design. So I'm gonna turn the camera on and just make it, and I will either do a voiceover or, speed it up or just talk as I go. So the things that I use, the first thing I did was, this is my daughter's headshot. And so I sized it. This is a 2 inches because, well, let me start over. I actually love to use this to decorate it. They are the things that you put on the back of your chair, and you can run the, for weddings and stuff. I don't know what they're called, but they're the things when you have like seat covers and then they tie in the back. Instead of that, you run the ribbon through that, and it just looks decorative. So I take it and cut. Let's see, where is the little tool that I use? I use this, and I just you have to be careful because these are little, rhinestones. I could get a soldering iron and unsolder that, but I just use my little wire cutters, and I just kind of break it in the center so it's be weak enough. And then I just take it here and very gently fold it under and take that piece off, and do the same thing here. I've done that for several of them already. Once I have this piece, then I glue this on the back side of it. I'm gonna glue this on top of here, and all I did was import her headshot into Canva, and I used a circle frame, and I just inserted in there. Then I brought this into my Cricut, and I sized the picture to 1.5 because that's what the opening is, but because the whole thing is 2 inches, I just added a larger circle behind it in white, and I flattened it so that it would cut and it would line up perfectly. So that's the next thing I do. And I'm gonna use the hot glue, and I just run a bead around. And then I don't worry too much about the glue strings because they usually pull off, But if I got one in there that I just don't want to see, there. So now the thing about, because this is cold metal and paper, is sometimes the hot glue, cools off before it sticks to the paper. So I just make sure that it's glued down everywhere, and if it feels like it's not sturdy, I'll either lift it and apply more. Sometimes I'll use the glitter glue, like here, I've got a little. So once that's there, then I'm just gonna let that dry. And the next thing I do is I have cut out, these are 3 inch, and I just use cardstock, the same that I printed that on, and I take it and I have divided it up. So I've got a little mat here in my ruler. So I just divide it in half and make 2 squares. And this is going to be my guide for attaching my ribbons. So I have this, and then I use, I made one that was a little larger and I just felt like it was too big. So I cut these to be 6 inches, and when they fold up, they'll be 3 inches off the base, if that makes sense. So they will just kind of peek out like that. I had some a little bigger, and they were just too much. So I like the look of layering the ribbons, so I went ahead and cut these already, these off camera, and then I thought, well, I'm gonna turn the camera on and show you what I'm doing. So now I have the rest of them to cut. And so this one goes with the gold. Where's my, I'm missing my white ribbon. All right, this is the ribbon. Very precise measurements, you know. And so I like to layer them because I just think it makes it look a little, you know, a little more elegant. I'm not sure. So I'm going to cut 4 of these. So that's the next thing I'll do, is I'll just line these up, center them, and then use my hot glue and just kind of tack it down. So these, I double them because I'm going to fold them over. These are just going to be flags straight off the bat. So I only make them the 3 inches. And I do 8 of these because these 4 will set across from one another on the 2 crosses, and then in between each of these a flag will go. So, and I just kind of fold them over and eyeball how much I want to take off. Now I just start to assemble, and I just use this as my guide. Once I have this piece on, like this, then I add these on. And I just put them between each one, but I'm going to hot glue them. once they're glued on there, then I'm gonna put a backer on it. Just clean everything up. So just cover it in glue. So now all that's left is to add my sunflower, which this I make. I just get some flowers. These came from Walmart. Pretty easy. You just pull that piece off. I've seen some people just, you know, put their button or whatever right on these kind of things, but I don't like that. I want to, so pretty, again, you just pull it off. And then I don't keep this. I guess you could, but I don't keep that either. And now there's three, they're stacked on top of each other, and I like to like move them around so they look more full that way. And then this piece is usually too big. By too big, I mean, I just don't like seeing that, you know, empty there. So I take this and just fold it a little bit. To be like about that. I just put a little crease in there, and so when it sits there, it's seated better, in my opinion. So I'm just gonna glue that, just to kind of like hold it, that little pleat down. And then I just glue all the layers together. And if they line back up, see, I want them to be like this before I glue them, so that it's, you know, there. I just hold it in place for a second while it cools. All right. And now I just decide which way I want this to sit, which I've been making them with this at the top, but you could make it with the gold at the top if you wanted. You could put a flag. You could put it this way and have your petals coming off more like that, which, you know, maybe I'll do that this time. So, again, I'm just gonna put a lot of glue on all this here, because it's not going anywhere. And you may be wondering, how are we going to wear this? Well, the last thing I will do is add magnets to the back of them. I used to use, you know, buttons like this and pin them, but you had to put them on, you know, through your clothes. But I get the magnets. Let's see if I have one. But I they're on order from Amazon. So I'll get them in, and then I will just they come with sticky, so you just stick them on, and then you can just, you know, put it on your clothing without making a hole. So that's the last thing I'll do, but I'm pretty pleased with how they turned out. Now to make the rest. Anyway, thanks for letting me share my process with you, and if you make any of these kind of spirit mums, I guess, this is for the pageant, for the Miss Kansas pageant, but these would be fun to make, you know, for any event, any sporting event that you'd go to with your athlete's picture in there. I know they're really popular for things like homecoming and stuff, but really anything. You can make them as big or as small as you like. Have a good day.